check 1, 2. I'm coming. Coming to get you. Here we are, folks. How's it going? Welcome. Should I do the glasses? Yeah, I'll do the glasses today. You know, I sometimes wear glasses. So, welcome to this episode. Let me get my camera just righty-tighty. There we go. How's everyone doing this Wednesday? Let's see. Make sure we're on the chat. Make sure we're still live. We're streaming. We are working. All the microphone inputs are coming through. Yes, they are. And cool. Hey, what's up, everyone? Jordan Anderson here. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about positive belief and the power of positive belief. I had an episode, I believe it was last week or a couple weeks ago now. Actually, I edited it today. But as I was watching it today, it was coincidental that we were going to have this episode today to talk about the power of positive belief, because in my past life, I've talked to you guys about filmmaking. I've talked to you about the techniques of filmmaking, of production, of marketing strategy. But what I failed to talk about in all of that was the power of belief and the power of self-confidence and the power of in here, the thought inside saying, yes, we can do this. This is possible, and we're going to make it happen. And hopefully this episode is me covering that ground, or me kind of correcting my errors for my omissions of not talking about such a core thing that I thought kind of went unspoken, or I kind of avoided, to say the least. But I'm here. We're here. Let's talk about this today. Let's switch over to our beautiful slideshow today. This also coincides with the completion of me listening. I will never pretend. The people that read books, that say they read books, that listen to books, in actuality, don't say you read a book. You listen to a book. I listened to a book. I listened to this book last month, Think and Grow Rich, and I finally listened to the last chapter just a couple days ago, and I was like, great. Now it's time to do the book review. Let me pull out some of the best bits, some of the best quotes, some of the best pieces. So this presentation is a sort of a review summary of some of the key points from that book, but the overall message is that I want you guys to have a belief that this is all possible, and that you can do it as a photographer, as a business owner, as a content creator. So, here we go. Okay, let's switch over to my... All right, so we're switched over. Let me make sure I'm in the bubble. Go a little over here. If I'm in the bubble correctly. Nope, that made it worse. All right, let's move me over a little bit. Pan right a little bit. I guess I could scoop my chair up. Always trying to get in that bubble, folks. Trying to get right in the center so it looks aesthetically pleasing for my... Come on. There you go, chair. Oh, now I'm too low. Stand by. I'm making some adjustments, folks. There we go. Now I'm just going to sit up tall enough and at the same time not slouch. All right, folks, let's talk about the power of positive belief. So my goal for this presentation, my goal of all the content, and I want to instill this in you, that you should have a goal for every piece of content that you create. Don't just make content because you think it's cool, think it's fun. Have a goal. The goal is that I'm going to teach you today the 3 core principles to empowering you to thrive in your business. You're going to walk away from this. So here's today's lesson plan. We're going to first talk about desire, and then we're going to move on to our second lesson, auto-suggestion, which is kind of an old word, and we'll talk about that in lesson 2. And then in lesson 3, we're going to wrap it up with decision. So let us start with today's first lesson, desire. Desire. This is all and remember, frame all this in your mindset in wanting to grow rich and successful and run a successful business and become a successful photographer. This is all in that context. So when I talk about any of this stuff, that's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm aimed at. Lesson number 1 is desire. How bad do you want it? Let's talk about that. Like, seriously, has anyone asked you that? How bad do you actually want to become a photographer, or to maintain being a photographer, or to continue being a photographer? How bad do you actually want it? Because I think if you don't really care, or if it's kind of fun, or if it's just something that you're just kind of wishy-washy a little bit, you're okay with your full-time job, but it would be nice to be a photographer. How bad do you actually want it? Do you live and breathe this? Do you crave this? Will you do this kind of stuff when you have nothing else to do, when you're bored, do you do this without people asking you to do this? How badly do you actually want to do this? Because the things that we want to do are the things that actually stick. Or I can rephrase it. The things that stick are the things that we want to do. If it's a chore, if it's laborious, it's January right now. We're all getting into new habits and new exciting exercises and diets. And if you at a core do not have the desire to do this, or you do not have a desire to reach the outcome that you see, then it's not going to stick. It's just going to be a chore. It's going to be laborious. It's going to be arduous. I just use whatever other words you want me to use. It's like, if you want it to stick, then it has to at least be something you want to do. If it's something that you have to do, you have to go to the doctor's appointment, you have to go vote, you have to go, like all these kind of things, you have to pay taxes, all these things you don't want to do those things, but you have to do them. And given the choice, or if you had the option to not do it, some people would choose not to do it, if given the choice not to do it. When it comes to your business, and it comes to making the sacrifice and pushing and putting in the long hours and doing all the thankless, tedious, small little tasks that nobody gives a shit that you did, and no one will ever care, and you can never tell anyone that you did these little small, tedious tasks in your business. And at the end of the day, you get to say that you're running your own business and you are a photographer and you are a content creator. Do you have the desire to achieve those goals, despite all those negative aspects or the tiny little aspects where despite being a thankless job? If you are influenced, here's a quote from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So if you are influenced by the opinions of others, you will have no desire of your own. So when you are, because sometimes we share our desires. sometimes we talk about, wouldn't it be nice, or hey, I'm thinking about starting my own business. Wouldn't it be great if I was a photographer? Or someone asks you, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? I say, hey, I want to be a photographer. I want to be a content creator. I want to be a videographer. And you go, okay, well, that's not a very good job, or that job doesn't really pay that much money, or okay, is that just going to be a hobby of yours because there's no money in that, or how are you going to make a living out of that, or that's kind of silly, or like, oh, that industry's dead. If you care about what other people think or the opinions of other people, and this is the tough part, even the opinion of your father, your mother, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your brothers, sisters, your teacher at school, your professor, your friends, your closest loved ones telling you what you're doing is stupid, or what you're doing does not make sense, or what you're doing is not bringing in any money. If that has any effect on you, then you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. You cannot. If you're just so wishy-washy, then you never really had this kind of soul focus. You never really had this soul, heartfelt desire to actually pursue something. And with desire, in another way you could say, it's just like the commitment to it. I am so fixated and committed to the idea that I want to achieve this, that I don't see any other option. I see no other option. And I'll tell you a little story here. This I've always heard this phrase, burn the ships, and it was kind of, I thought it was like a military thing, or I thought it was like a Revolutionary War thing. When people say burn the ships, it actually comes from, pending 2021, our modern thinking of colonizers and the colonial America, but the phrase burn the ships came from Hernando Cortez, the guy who then conquered the Aztec Empire. So notwithstanding what you think about that, and pretty much a genocide. But the lesson, or what they did, or his commitment to the cause, to finding and discovering the New World, or finding the City of Gold, or whatever it was. My history lesson is a little fuzzy. But the story Burn the Ships comes from, these insane sailors that had this burning desire to find the New World, to go out and do something that was almost beyond entrepreneurial and like borderline crazy, where we're going to put you on a boat for 3 months. You're going to be drinking and eating the same stuff. You're going to be just the nastiest conditions. Probably half of you are going to die before we even arrive there. And then once we get there, This is what Cortez had in his mind, and this is where I want to take the lesson, but leave behind the genocide. To say, okay, we've landed here. We're in this new place. We're in this new chapter of our lives. We're in this new world that we've stepped foot into. Some of you may feel hesitant. Some of you may feel like we want to go back, or we want to have a plan B. And burn the ships is basically that. There is no plan B. And Cortez told his sailors once they were on the shores, like, burn the ships. Because what that implied was, if you burn the ships, we're not going home. We're staying right the fuck here. We're not going anywhere. Because if there's no ship, there's no way to get home. So that means we either have to figure it out what we're going to do here, or if we do give up, we're either going to die trying, or I guess the final plan C, if we don't die from all this, that we'll build a boat and we'll fly and we'll drive back. But we probably can't sail back, because we don't have the technology to actually build a proper ship that's going to get us across the goddamn Atlantic Ocean. But the idea is that if you have such a burning desire to really start your business, and to really get things off the ground, and to really become the photographer that you're aimed to be, you have to take this approach that I'm willing to burn the ships, not burn bridges. I'm willing to burn the ships, to leave behind everything, to not have a plan B. That's how committed I am to this idea. So, oh my God, I do so at the end of every point. Like, I just say so. So with that, let's switch over before we get to lesson 2, I want to quickly talk about the perfect wedding package. Go head over to the perfect wedding package. This year, my goal for you is to help you double your revenue in 2021. That's my mission. I got it right above here above my computer. My mission is to help photographers double their revenue in 2021. And I think this right here, this course, this lesson plan, this entire bonus package that I'm offering at the perfect wedding package I think it's going to change your life. I truly believe that this can double your revenue in 2021 because you're able to raise your prices. You're able to charge more. We've talked about how many weddings should you shoot. You can shoot 55 weddings if you want to keep doing that and be crazy. You can do the optimal and shoot 32 weddings a year. But if you had to only shoot 32 weddings this year and you want to make over $100,000, you probably have to raise your prices. And you have to be comfortable with that conversation of your clients saying, hey, I used to charge $1,000. I used to charge $500. Well, now I'm charging $3,000. Now I'm charging $5,000 for a wedding package. And you're going to pay for it, and you're going to happily pay for it. And to have those conversations, to try to actually convince a client or to get a client excited to pay for those high prices and still feel like they're getting a great deal, it's a win-win. It's the double thank you moment. So head over to theperfectweddingpackage.com. Check it out. Check out the video. Let me know what you think. And if you buy it and you don't like it, I would give you, and you say, hey, Jordan, I don't like it, refund on the spot. The risk is on me for you to like this product. If you do not like this product, if you did not get any value from this, the risk is on me. You say, hey, Jordan, I didn't like it. I want a refund. And I say, cool, no problem. theperfectweddingpackage.com. Yeah. So now back to burning ships. Or I should say, let's move on to lesson 2, auto-suggestion. Now, this is the weirdest and most profound and most perhaps life-changing lesson I learned from this book, The Power of Auto-Suggestion. And I've read books, I actually over the summer break, I read You Are a Badass. I think that was the name of the book, or I Think You're a Badass, or Think Like a Badass. It was this little yellow book. Read the entire book in an entire weekend, and it was all focused on the power of positive affirmations and articulating your goals and articulating what you want and articulating your vision and what you want in life. And it was in the same vein. I kept reading more, and then I heard this part. I think this is chapter 3 of Think and Grow Rich, and the power of faith, and talked about this tool called auto-suggestion, and it's probably been swirled around. It's probably been called positive affirmation or The Secret, or I don't think it's quite The Secret. I don't even know what The Secret is, actually. So you have to set your desires, burn the ships, and then now we must make believers out of ourselves. That's the next step to finding success, to pursuing the dream that you have of becoming a photographer, of making it full-time as a creative, that we now have to convince ourselves. Yes, I have the desire, I really want to do this, and I've made the commitment, Jordan. I don't even have a plan B for this. Now we have to make believers out of ourselves. So I thought this was kind of clever. The easiest person to fool is ourselves. So let's use that to our advantage. If we're so easily fooled by ourselves, or we can trick ourselves into doing dumb things or bad things or into making mistakes, then why can't we trick ourselves into doing positive things and good things and successful things? And so let's give you some context. What is auto-suggestion, and why are you using such an old word, Jordan? I know the book is from 1937. What is auto-suggestion? Auto-suggestion is the vehicle we use to drive our conscious desires into our subconscious minds. What the fuck are you talking about, Jordan? Okay, roll with me on this one. So when I say that it's a vehicle we use to drive our conscious desires into our subconscious mind, what I mean by that is, imagine that our subconscious mind, the part of our mind that we can't control, but is going on in the background. It's kind of driving our emotions, our thoughts, our desires. We can't articulate it. We don't know exactly what's going on in that part of the subconscious. And then on the outer side, so if that's the inner core, imagine that your brain is like the core of the earth, or the inner target, or whatever, the concentric ring on the inside. That's your subconscious. And around it is this ring of the conscious mind. And beyond that is the outside world. So it'd be just kind of, outside world, and then the conscious mind, and then the subconscious mind. All the things that come from the outside world, influences, power, appreciation, negativity, positive thought, negative thought, loved ones telling us we can do it, friends and colleagues saying we're dumb and can't do this and you're crazy, your spouse saying we had everything coming in, your desires, everything, all of that coming in from the outside world into your conscious mind. And then your conscious mind filters it, it marinates on it, it loves on it, it promotes it, it demotes it, it pushes it up and down. And then in that little swirl, through kind of osmosis, through diffusion, all that seeps into the conscious mind, to the subconscious mind. And we can't control that diffusion. We can't, whatever is in our conscious mind just naturally gets, it's like water on I'm trying to think, it's like, or like if our subconscious mind, if our conscious mind is an empty bowl, is an empty fish bowl, and our subconscious mind is a sponge that we throw down into the empty bowl, then the outside world, our thoughts, power, influences, is the water that's poured into the bowl. And it all swirls around in the bowl, our conscious mind, and by no effort of our own, all that influence, all that power, all that events, positivity, negativity, energy, all gets absorbed into the sponge naturally. Like we can, we're not pushing water into the sponge. We're not squeezing water out of the sponge. It's just naturally getting soaked in constantly. So it is up to us to choose what we want to put into that bowl, into that vessel, into our conscious mind, and with autosuggestion. This is what I mean by the vehicle that drives our conscious desires. We articulate out loud to ourselves what it is that we want, what it is that we desire, what the vision that we have for our business, the vision that we have to be successful, to become a photographer, to live a full life, to just not have a 9-to-5 job and make it full-time as a creative. Like all of that, those thoughts, those desires, all must be constantly like the auto suggestion part is basically you're hypnotizing yourself, you're brainwashing yourselves, you are fooling yourself into believing this thought, this idea, these desires, that you can do this, that this is possible, and you're constantly marinating in that. You're constantly filling up that vessel with those kinds of thoughts, the desires, the excitement that you have, the passion that you have for it, and through osmosis, through diffusion, that gets absorbed into the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is, sometimes it's like the voice in our head, it's our gut intuition, it's the cynicism that pushes back, or like for me, I have cynicism that comes out of nowhere. I have this kind of like negative chatter that is, I try to see the bad in everything, or I try to be critical and analytical of everything immediately without giving it a chance. And I know that's just my old way of thinking, or my old habits of thought, where it's just I'm constantly thinking about. I used to be such a critical and analytical person that's how my subconscious has learned to operate. So I need to reevaluate. I need to refresh it. I need to dump all the water out, wring the sponge out, and start new again and say, I can do this. I am going to do this. This is my dream. This is exactly what I want to do. This is why I want to do it. And I can do this, and that this is possible. And always saying those things out loud constantly. And it just... And that lesson right there is, to me, I feel like that's everything for this video. That it's the most important lesson that you could take away from this. That the voice in your head, that you tell your inner thoughts, that you talk to yourself, the thing that you say to yourself, is so critical, and the tone in which you say things, and how you frame things in your mind, how you think about your life, how you think about your future, is so critical. It is so important that you guys have such a and think of it like this: like if you're gonna start a new habit this year, let it be the habit of thought. That anytime a negative thought comes in, or you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling unsure about yourself, or maybe you're second guessing yourself about, I don't know if I can be a photographer, or I don't know if I'm cut out for this, or oh, look, Jordan, you're on a live stream. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no authority talking about this. What are you doing? You know, if those thoughts come into your mind, flip it. Find a way to flip it. Make it the habit of thought is I'm going to think positively, and not just. And when I say think positively, I don't just mean be a nice guy and be a happy-go-lucky, cheerful person. I'm talking make everything into a positive. If it's negative, how can it be a positive? If it's cynical, how can you flip it into an opportunity? Instead of saying like this sucks, say like this is an interesting idea, or like very simple things like I can do this, or I can master these skills, or something bad happens in your life, or and to separate yourself from the situation, you losing a client, you falling through on a project, you messing up some photos, or you missing the shot, or half your shots were out of focus, or you lost all the footage, all the things that are mess ups and screw ups are situations, and then you need to separate yourself from those situations so that you can look at these and talk to yourself in a positive way and say like, this is a beautiful learning opportunity. It's a state of mind. And for me, it's like this year I will make $100,000. And I sit in my car sometimes, like I'm driving to work, and I come home from work, I park it in the garage, and I just sit there, and I probably look like a psycho, but I sit there and I say things out loud to myself. I tell myself, and you would not catch me dead. Even last year, even a year, 10 years, 5 years ago, doing any of this, you would not catch me dead. I feel like such a hippie, or I don't even know how to describe myself when I say like I sit in my car and I chant things. I talk to myself and repeatedly say it over and over until I believe it. And if I don't believe it, I don't get out of the car and go do the rest of my day. It's like, it's so strange. And this trick, though, the trick of talking to yourself, the trick of like, I'm going to say things out loud, I do it all the time. I don't know why I haven't applied it to the rest of my life, but I usually do it when I go to bed. Here's a trick for you. It's a quick trick that some miraculously works. If you want to go to bed and you want to set an alarm, just say it out loud to yourself. If you want to wake up at 6:30 a.m., don't just set the alarm for 6:30 a.m. Set the alarm, but also say to yourself out loud, I will wake up at 6:30. I will wake up at 6:30 a.m. I will wake up at 6:30 a.m. And I usually wake up 5 minutes before that. I usually wake up like at 6:25 naturally before the alarm clock, because I've auto-suggested. I've told myself in the conscious, I've driven that down to my subconscious saying, I will wake up at 6:30 a.m. So if that can work, why can't the rest of this work? Why can't the rest of this things that you want to auto-suggest yourself say, I will make $100,000 this year. I will grow my following by 10,000 subscribers. It's all possible. It's all in the realm of possibility, and you have to believe it, and you say, I can do this. And this is, here it is, repeated exposure, because, we talked about positivity, negativity, or like maybe your spouse is negative, or maybe your parents are negative, or someone in your life, it's sadly, it's usually your family members that kind of talk the most negative about your life, your desires, your hopes, your dreams. And repeated exposure to something grows more and more accustomed and more normalized. And if you're constantly bombarded and you're constantly repeatedly heard negative things, you can't do it, this is impossible, this isn't in the realm of possibility, do you honestly think you can do this in 30 days? Do you honestly think you can do this in a year? You hear that constantly, and the more you hear it, the more it starts to sound normal, or sound just kind of, you just start to accept it. So if negativity can have that kind of power, why can't positivity have that kind of power? You say, I will make $100,000 this year, Jordan. I will grow my subscribers by 10,000. It's like, if you can say all those things, if you can positively reaffirm that, even if some of the things that sound absurd, like I will get to 1 million subscribers this year, like that sounds absurd at this point. But if you keep saying it, if you keep repeating it, it starts to sound more and more normal, and the absurdity becomes more plausible. And as it becomes more plausible, it then starts to become 100% guaranteed. And here is the process of autosuggestion. You say things to yourself that you believe are slightly absurd, or a goal that's perhaps slightly out of reach, or is completely out of reach at this point. But you have to keep saying it and keep repeating it and keep until you believe it. Because if you don't believe it, then nobody else is going to believe it first. You cannot convince someone else of your hopes and dreams and desires if you yourself don't have those hopes and dreams and desires. And then you have to keep repeating it until it becomes plausible, and then until it becomes guaranteed. How we doing, folks? How's the stream going, guys? Is this good stuff? Is this interesting stuff? I'm trying to mix it up with like doing a little bit of hard technical strategy stuff, and then soak it in with some soft skills here, like the power of belief. I'm not a religious person. I don't have the faith, but like when it comes to faith in myself, I 100% have that. If you're watching right now, if you're on the chat, yeah, what's going on? What's going on in the world? How are we doing? See, we're getting some. The positive thing I've seen so far with these live streams is that it's just, again, keeps going up. It's that kind of 1% improvement every single day. Like before, when we first started all this 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, we had nobody. Zero followers, 0 subscribers. Well, not 0 subscribers, but what am I trying to say? 0 playbacks, 0 viewers currently watching, and now it's just it's ticked up every day. It's almost. It was doubling. It went from 2 to 4 to 6 to 12 to 24. So I'm really honored that you're watching this. If you're in the live chat, if you're watching this right now, drop something. Say something as simple as just hi. Just to know you're out there. All right, let's get back to it. All right. Let's get to lesson 3. This is the final lesson of today's presentation, of today's video. And that's decision. So we've come from the desire, I have it in my heart, I have it in my soul, I have it deep down to my stomach that I want to do this, that I can do this, that this is what I want to do in my life. I don't have a plan B. This is my only plan right here. God damn it. And then you've gone from desire to autosuggestion to faith. I believe I can do this. I know this is possible. God damn it. And then that leads us to our third lesson, decision. Do you ever ask yourself this? Did you ever ask yourself this when you were starting your business? Or you were thinking about becoming a photographer? Or making photography your full-time gig? Or you said, you know what? Should I do this? Or do you find this in your business maybe? Maybe you're thinking about starting a new TikTok account. Or you're thinking about, hey, I want to become a live streamer just like George on YouTube. Should I do this? Is this a good idea? Another quote from Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. I usually project this kind of negativity towards these types of people. And I know I project it, or I know it's a projection, and I know I get irritated with these types of people. And these are, how would I put it? To put it bluntly, beta people. I'm type A. I have an alpha personality. Is it alpha? You even say that? But I see these people that are meek, mild, have trouble making decisions. They have the desire to become a photographer, to become a video creator, to become full-time freelancer, but they're very meek and they have not a lot of self-confidence. And inside me, I get this, it just boils up in me. And I get this rage. And I don't lash out on them, but the rage builds inside me. And what I realize in that rage, and I've asked myself this, when I'm around these types of people, these people that they're soft. They don't know how to they don't know what's right. They don't know what decisions to make. They're indecisive. They can't even choose off a freaking restaurant menu. They're so indecisive. And I've asked myself, why, Jordan, do you get angry at these people? These people didn't do anything to you. They're not inconveniencing you. You live your own life. Why is it that these types of people irritate you? And I have to look at myself and I say, why do I get irritated by people that are indecisive and don't have a lot of confidence in themselves? And I know it's just a projection. I know I'm saying, well, Jordan, you used to be like that. You used to be this meek and mild little kid, this little nerdy boy who was soft, who didn't have any confidence, who couldn't make a decision, who was always second-guessing themselves, who was thinking that the bullies in school were right, or that you are a loser, or you are weird, Jordan, like that. And I was scared, and I was a little skinny kid, and I was, and I know, and now when I see those types of people out in the world, I get irritated, and I know it's not their fault, but the part of me just says, I just want to, come on, because I just want to, I want to take him by the shoulder and shake him like, you have to make a decision. You have to get some self-confidence. You have to believe in yourself. You have to make a decision about these things. No one else is going to make the decision for you. Should you do this in your business? Should you start a new account? Should you do this new marketing technique? Should you launch this new product today or tomorrow? Yes or yes. It's yes or yes. Do it or don't do it. That's the decision you have to make. And with running your own business, and when it's a team by yourself, and you're in the kind of, when you're in the micro business phase, you're in the kind of like less than $10,000 sales, and it's just you, and you're running the show, and you don't even have enough money to afford help somewhere else. You have to make all the decisions yourself, and you have to move fast. When you come from the corporate world, you are used to slow and process and bureaucracy. When you get to the entrepreneurship world, when you get to the small business world, it's fast. It's not humming and hawing. It's, we got to make a goddamn decision right now. Right the fuck now. And here's the kind of the glue between all of these lessons. Your desires, backed by your faith, will drive your decisions. So in other words, the thing that you truly want to do, I want to become a photographer, I want to become a full-time content creator, must be backed by the internal belief that you can do this, that it is possible. And those two things will then drive your decision. It won't even be a question, because there won't be an indecision, because you already know that this is possible. You already know what you want to do. If you know what you want to do and you know that it's possible, then the path is already laid out. There's no wait, where's the trail, or I don't know, or should we go left or right? It doesn't matter. You already know what you want to do in your life, and you already know it's possible. So it doesn't matter if you go left and right. You're going to figure it out, and you're going to make it to the end. You're going to make it to what it is that you desire. And another habit that I want you guys to pick up this year, we talked about that power, the habit of thought, the habit of thinking positively, of turning every negative thought, every negative interaction, every negative situation that you see in your life, the cynicism, the nastiness, turning that into a positive thought or an opportunity. The second habit I want you guys to pick up this year, if you only pick up any two habits this year, is the habit of decision. To make a decision and make it quickly and then adjust later. It's okay that you chose to open a Snapchat account. It's okay. You made the decision. Make a commitment to it, and then reassess it later. Make an adjustment later. If it's not working out now, that's okay. If you thought you wanted to be a wedding photographer, and you got into the business, and you didn't like weddings because you thought it was monotonous, or you thought it was the same thing over and over, or you found that weddings weren't your cup of tea, you weren't a failure as a photographer. You just made the right decision in the right path, but now you must adjust and say, I still have the desire to become a photographer and still live my life as a full-time freelancer. I know it's possible, and I made the decision of going to wedding photography, and you know what? Now I'm going to switch over to fashion photography. I'm going to switch over to influencer photography. It does not matter. It's more about the decision. There shouldn't be any hesitation. There are a million things you could do in your business. There are a million different decisions. There are a million good ideas out there, good techniques, 100% guarantee strategies that are going to work, that are going to earn you $1,000 a day. Buy now, click here. All of those could work. You must just make a decision. That's all that matters. So, your desire to conclude. I'm going to end on this. Your desires, backed by your faith, will drive your decisions. And I know if you're not religious, faith is a weird word. And for me, I'm not religious, and faith is a weird word. But faith, this inner belief that I know that this is all possible, and to know what I want, and then to glue those two things together and have that be the rocket fuel that drives you forward. And the guidance is the map, is the decisions that you choose to make. That's the secret. That's the key to it all. So, let's end on that. It's a little bit of a short presentation today, but I recommend that you guys go check out the book. It's a little bit of an old book. It's a little bit overrated. I thought the book was great, but there are just some books that are just a little overrated. And I thought, overrated in terms of how much that people talk about it, but underrated in terms of the values that it actually has. I think it's great. Go read the book, go listen to it on tape like I did. On tape. That's what I did. When I was a kid, we listened to a book on tape. I don't give a shit. Listen to Harry Potter, book on tape. Put the cassette tape in there, rewind it, press play. And then it moved on to book on CD. Well, you say book on CD or you say book by MP3? Audiobook. My wife corrected me. You mean audiobook? No. Book on tape. God damn it. All right, I love you guys. This was good. This was good. I want you guys to believe this. This is this is what I wanted to talk about. This is actually the section of the video. This was the secret reason why I wanted to do this video, because I wrote this email yesterday. What was today now? Today's Wednesday. I wrote this email yesterday, and I got some positive feedback. And thank you for the people that read the email and replied back. Thank you guys so much. I love reading your emails. It's such a great dialogue, because I know it's just you and me talking and just having like this one-on-one personal conversation. It's just, I love it. I have failed to articulate this until now, and I'm going to say it right here on the chat, that I, this year, am going to make $100,000. I've never made $100,000 in a year, but that's my goal. And I want to prove to myself that I can do it. I know I can do it. I know I can make $100,000, and I want to be transparent with you guys on this. And next week, and we have let's see. Next week, we're actually going to talk about it. I'm going to do a breakdown behind the perfect wedding package, how I did it, with the kind of goals behind it. But I want to really go super vulnerable with you guys, truly behind the scenes. And I was trying to articulate as do I call it? Because when people say I'm a six-figure photographer, I'm a six-figure this, six-figure that, it's just like shut the fuck up. Or that's like negativity coming out. I want to document this journey on earning six figures because I think there's some that kind of point in a small business that you maybe make $10,000 your first year, $30,000, $50,000, but until you break that $100,000 mark, in the grand scheme of things, $100,000 isn't really that much for a small business, but to break that, that's what I'm aiming for. That is my goal for this year, to earn $100,000 through the business, and I want to show you guys how I did it. I know it's possible. I know we're gonna make it. I know we can make it. I know I can make it, and you're gonna come with me. And I'm gonna take you on this journey on earning $100,000 and trying to figure the fuck out how I'm going to, because I know I can do it. I have a vision on how I want to do it, and I know some decisions are gonna come down the pipeline that are going to have to be made. But at this point, I can see the goal, I can see the end, but the path in the middle, I don't know. I'm not sure how we're gonna navigate it. The fog is very dense at this point, but I can see the light at the end. I can see it that says, your goal, Jordan, $100,000. We're going to make it this year. You're gonna earn it this year. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna figure it out. We're going to do it here on the live stream. We're going to be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single night, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. And that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to figure out. That I wanted to make some kind of public commitment that I'm going to earn $100,000 this year. And I can't wait. And I can't even wait to say at the end of the year that I was a failure, that I fucked up, that we didn't make $100,000 a year. Because either way, it's all a win for me. It's all a positive experience. It's a learning experience. But if I can have $100,000 at the end of the fucking year, that'd be fucking nice. So, thank you guys for watching. Let's end the chat here. Let's end the stream here. I love you guys. I will see you on Friday. What are we talking about Friday? Let me give you guys a little preview. Let me get the Notion calendar out. Ooh, okay. On Friday, I need to do a couple interviews between now and then to get a little more research. But on Friday, we're going to talk about some dark shit. We're going to talk about some heavy shit. We're going to be talking about 2021 is going to be called the great catch-up year for wedding photographers. There was a lot of shit that happened in 2021, obviously. And we need to talk about what we're going to do as photographers in order to make up for this year. Because some weddings in 2020 got postponed into now. And now what do you do as a photographer? You still got paid in 2020, but that means you can't get paid even more for 2021. How are we going to navigate those waters? That's what we're going to talk about on Friday. It's going to get a little dark. It's going to get a little heavy going into the weekend, but that's okay. So, thank you guys for watching.